It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dirt Talk.
Welcome. Hi.
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 How are you?
Good. How are you? That was a very emphatic opening by Neil there. It's kind of nice.
Well, I put that there. I don't have results. There was a soft tip tournament in Indianapolis, and Neil won.
Did you go?
One of the doubles with John Douglas. No, turned out I didn't go. I had to work Saturday, but it's interesting. Got a lot of comments on it.
Yeah.
So we may have to revisit that one at some time. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to Dart Talk. Steve Ponce-Yellman and Mystery Mark, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Let's get this out of the way right off the bat.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect the thoughts or opinions of the hosts, our sponsors, any official Dart sanctioning organization, and post hoc ergo propter hoc, any and all spelunkers, debunkers, raconteurs, roustabouts, technocrats, hepcats, cat ladies, Lady Gaga, the Four Seasons, the Three Stooges, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, hipsters, kibitzers, hellions, the fickle finger of fate, or Tom Waits.
Thank you, Melissa. We are now cleared of any wrongdoing.
Appreciated as always.
In advance, big show.
Big show.
We got a big show tonight. We've got results from 5 tournaments, I think.
Yeah, a lot of results.
PDC Q School wrapped up over the weekend. The Wichita, Kansas Air Cap Open.
Yeah.
We got results for that. We've got results from the New York, New Jersey Open, which, man, I wish I could have went to that. And what else? We got, there was something in TRICODA. They had a little shoot in Florida.
Do we have the results for Indianapolis or just that Neil won? Those
just
are our results?
Just that Neil won one of the doubles with John Douglas, who's a friend of the show, and I really kind of wanted to just go there on Sunday just to say hi to everybody, but I didn't get a chance.
Right.
So too bad, so sad. But so
you wanted to go to Indianapolis and you wanted to go to Atlantic City, and you didn't get to go to either. Basically,
Atlantic City.
Did you say Atlantic City? What was the other one you said?
I don't know. I can't remember that far back. I've had a very busy couple of days, and we'll get to that. So we have results, and we'll do those. We'll do those soon. Also, I promised a couple of homies that we would name America's most overpriced darter.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we'll play the little.
Is there criteria to be an overpriced darter?
Yeah, the criteria is like whatever we say it is.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what do you
mean by overpriced, though?
Well, they put together like a little fantasy game for the
Vegas shoot.
Well, for the U.S. Cricket Nationals, which is Friday, and they put a price on everybody's head, and you can't take more than 6, and your total price of your team can't be above 30 points.
Okay,
right. And, I looked at some of these prices, and I was just shaking my head. I just absolutely could not believe it. So we're going to talk about that.
Sure.
Also, we have an interview with Jerry Umberger.
Oh, nice.
The be-all and end-all of darts back in the 80s, I think. And we had a nice conversation with him, so we'll play that for everybody. It took me a while to clean up the audio.
Again.
I just, I had a lot of problems.
Is it worse than the other interviews from last week?
Not anymore.
No, okay.
But it was. It was, it was pretty bad. Well, we were sitting across from a big table, and he's a soft-spoken guy, so that was a combination that
didn't help.
No, didn't help at all. And we are going to reveal the magic bullet.
The magic bullet.
Right. I've given this BDO 180 rule a lot of thought, maybe more than I should, and racked my brains. Well, I have racked my brains because I've really had it, and so is everybody else. I mean, nobody's happy with this. So we now have a solution.
That's good.
Before the end of the show, we will show everyone how to implement, and we'll try to get some results. And, our goal is to
And
get
we're calling that the magic bullet.
The magic bullet. It's a magic bullet because it solves more than one problem at a time.
All right.
So if you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, then you're
It's
brilliant.
a magic stone?
Yeah, well, you're brilliant if you kill 2 with 1 stone. What if you kill 4?
What's beyond? You're
Super
beyond brilliant?
Now you're the brilliant in the Guinness commercial or something. So anyway, that's the plan for the show. Try to keep us on track, and let's not go like 4 hours. Hi in the chat room to Jason Watt. By the way, Jason, nice going in Indy. I saw you got top 3 there, and that's a very tough field, so you must have played pretty well. Congratulations on that. Let's cut right to let's start out with the Q School. Like the PGA Tour now, the PDC has its own Q School, which was fairly compelling, even though it wasn't live streamed or anything. If you looked at the results, if you won one of the 4 days, you got your tour card.
All right.
If you didn't win, you got so many points for every round you advanced, and then they looked at your total number of points after the 4 days, and the top 9 guys got through.
Got their card?
Yeah, and literally it came down to like 1 match here, 1 match there, and the list of names, we can read all the guys that got their cards real quick. Johann Artut, the German, great player. Ricky Evans, Kenny McNeil, friend of the show. We interviewed him in Chicago last year. He made it the first day. Charles Peterson made it through a 9-darter. There were 3 9-darters thrown in 4 days.
That's impressive.
And these are guys that don't have their tour cards.
Right.
So, I mean, it was a really amazing display of darts. Hanny Avisto, Ian Walters, Daryl Gurney, Louis Blundell, Mark Dewsbury, Ronnie Hybrex, Kim Hybrecht's brother, Campbell Jackson, Andrew Welge, and then on day 4, Steve Coote, Royden Lamb, who's the big soft tipper out in Japan, got his card and played pretty much, from what I hear, spectacularly all weekend. Joey Palfreyman and Kevin McDine, who beat me once in the 5th leg of the 5th set to win the board in Vegas a few years ago. Great player. He was kind of on his way up, and I don't know what happened.
How many times have you played him?
Once.
Oh, okay. So you made it sound like he beat you once.
I had a whack at 78, and let me tell you, I still haven't let go of that double.
No.
That thing never had a chance. But no, I was happy for Kevin McDine. He threw a 9-darter in the last one, and he would have gotten through on points, but he won anyway on the last day.
So it didn't matter. Right.
Some of these guys played really, really good all weekend. Martin Turner, David Pallett, Dan Russell, Edwin Max, Paul Amos, Ryan Van de Vried, Kirk Shepard, who had a huge run in the World Championships a few years ago. He was the guy from nowhere that just couldn't be beat until, I think, top 4. But had dropped off the map. He's back, going to be back on the circuit. Kevin Dowling and Darren Johnson.
So, no, those guys won by points. The other guys won a day.
By winning their day. And I wrote down...
Do the guys that win a day affect the people trying to win with points?
Well, that was the thing that I noticed on the last day. Like there was one match where the winner was going to get through and the loser was going to be short, and I'm not sure if these guys knew exactly how many points they needed.
Right.
I mean, I think if you were doing the math, you're probably hurting yourself. I mean, instead of focusing on the match at
winning,
hand, trying to figure out where you are, like looking at the leaderboard, kind of thing. So I'm not sure if they were doing any of that. I'm going to try to get Kevin McDine on the show sometime soon. If he remembers me, maybe he'll come on. But I wrote down the list of all these guys that did not make it through. Go ahead and read those names off.
Oh, you got Alex Roy, Dave Honey, Steve Hine, Chris Mason, Peter Manley, Lionel Sams, Peter Evison, Carlos Rodriguez, Steve Maish, and Barry Bates.
Yeah, Steve Maish. I mean, Barry Bates, Peter Evison, Lionel Sams. When I first started playing darts, Peter Manley was 4th in the world. Chris Mason, Steve Hine, Dave Honey have been over here. Alex Roy's been over here. And I'm just like, I think Alex Roy, when I met him, was 31st in the world.
Yeah. Joe
Devani beat him in one of the qualifiers
really?
In Vegas. And these guys dropping off the map completely and being replaced by great players that you've never heard of is showing you now the
How
level of
tough it
play
is,
overseas has really risen.
Mm-hmm.
And you got these young, hungry guys that are going for it now. And the guys that have been around that, I know Peter Manley had health problems. Chris Mason's had health problems. I mean, a lot of these guys, I'm not sure. Carlos Rodriguez playing soft tip and steel. Barry Bates had terrible health problems. He could barely walk.
Well, that doesn't help
yet. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what. I'm not a doctor. But a lot of these guys, great players that didn't make it through. And there's another. They had 313 guys.
Really?
Yeah. Just tremendous tournament.
For a total of what? 20 spots?
9 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 and 9.
25.
Yeah, so 25 spots.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. You think? And that's another reason this BDO rule is kind of stupid, because they might have had even more people, but there were probably guys that didn't want to risk playing in it, not qualifying, and then not being able to play the BDO tournaments anymore, where it's kind of designed to make you choose before you can even see what you're doing. So it's shrinking opportunities for dart players overseas. So I can't believe
so if you go to Q school and don't qualify, and then all of a sudden you can't play in the BDO either.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying.
Right.
And we'll get to the BDO thing and all that in a little bit, but it was I thought a fantastic showing for the Q school, and I was really happy for a couple of these guys that I know, like Royden Lamb and Kevin McDine and Kenny McNeil. It's good to see those guys get through. Now the trick is going to be, can you get over C's often enough to get up, high enough on the money list to make it worth your while. Mm-hmm. The guys that live in England obviously don't have the travel problems some of these other guys have, but it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. And just a note, we will preview the PDC World Cup of Darts next week.
How did Viejo Vinica get squeezed out?
Yeah, misses out on the daily
kind of like a coin flip
of results. No, they had a system of looking at something, and to be honest, I didn't really look it up. They had some tie-breaking system, and
he lost
ended
on
up
a
on the short
tiebreaker,
end,
basically.
Yeah. And you had, Kirk Shepard, Kevin Dowling, and Darren Johnson
all
on
tied.
12. And when the day started on day 4, 11 points would have gotten you in. Mm-hmm. Like the guy that was in 9th had 11 points and then was out in the first round. So he's got to be kicking himself. I think that was that Chris Dowling? I don't know who that was. But I was just amazed. I'm like, oh, this guy, just brutal. And like they say, like the PGA Tour schools, like the toughest rounds of golf anybody's ever going to play.
It's Q school. Yeah.
I was hearing comments like this from some of the guys that played in this. Like, the pressure was just, tremendous.
Immense, yeah.
And you got guys throwing 9 darters left and right. I mean, just awesome. Just awesome. How are we on time? Can we do some more
was
results?
leg differential, apparently.
Leg differential. Okay. I don't know how you're going to do leg differential, but they probably went back one match, and if it was the same, they went back another match or something like that. But I don't know. You had leg differential for all 4 days or something. I mean, I don't know. Kind of interesting. Let's do some more results while we're here. Just real quick, they had the TRICODA Grand Champion 2013. The men's winner was Joe Huffman. The women's winner was Debbie DeMar. And then in Florida, the Florida Dart Association Supershoot, John Beard, the winner. Runner-up, Sheldon Lionel. And for the women, Paula Murphy won again.
Of course.
Runner-up, Shea
No
Reynolds.
shock there.
No shock there, but congrats to all those folks for playing in that. And then let's do they had a nice big, kind of a traditional big tournament, the New
York Open?
New York, New Jersey Open.
Right.
I don't know. I guess
Doesn't
they
matter.
don't care about Connecticut. But
Well,
it was held in Long Island.
Maybe they didn't donate.
You want to run down these real quick?
The Pro Shoot 501, tied for 4th, Joe Schwick and Tim O'Gorman. Darren Young second. Jim Widmeyer wins that one. Draw doubles 501. Nick Brescia, George Timponi, Carl Austin, Jeff McCarthy, top 4. Anthony Belois and Del Hodgkins for second. And Matt Malone and Joe Schwick for the draw doubles. The open draw cricket. Dominic Pagnazzi, Bobby Pulaski, Ryan Moray, and Dale Curtis. Top 4, Ryan Vanderwheat, Tom Baumgartner second, with Tom Sawyer and Darren Young winning the open doubles cricket. Ladies doubles cricket, Jackie Clark, Aaron Quinn, Ann Sleepy Kramer, and Jen Schaefer. Top 4 with Callie West, Robin Curry getting second, and Marilyn Pop and Marcia Locke. I screw that one up every time.
You got it right
Marcia
away.
Locke.
I didn't have to correct you that time. That's good.
For first men's singles 501, John Gambino and George Timponi for top 4. Jim Widmeyer second. Tom Sawyer for first. Ladies singles 501, Aaron Quinn, Kristen Miller, Karen Clancy, and Nikki Carey for top 8. Pam Briggs, Marilyn Pop, top 4. Kelly West second, and Robin Curry first. You got mixed trips 601, Robin Curry, Jim Widmeyer, Tim O'Gorman, Tom Baumgartner, Ryan Vanderwheat, and Callie West for top 4. Big Dan Benner, Buddy Lessick, and Jen Benatazzo for second place. Darren Young, Tom Sawyer, and Marilyn Pop first place. Draw doubles, Rich Ensmenger, Erica Scholin, Mike Farrell, Dale Curtis for top 4. Shannon Gallagher, Paul Raish for second. Tim O'Gorman and Joe Fergione for first place for the draw. Sunday, you have mixed doubles 501. Tim O'Gorman, Marcia Locke, George Timponi, Heather Farrell, top 4. Tom Baumgartner, Callie West second, and Jim Widmeyer, Robin Curry first. Open doubles 501. You got Carl Austin, Bill Bell, Phil Freed, John Kramer, top 4 with Jeff Steinberg, Pat McKeon, second place. Tom Baumgartner, Ryan Vanderwheat take first. Then you have the ladies draw doubles. Top 4 goes to Mary McHugh, Aaron Quinn, and Carmen Apportella, and Kristen Miller. Second place goes to Callie West, Robin Curry, with first place going to Marilyn Pop and Marcia Locke. And men's singles cricket, top 8, Sean Arnold, George Timponi, Miles Gallagher, TJ DeArmas, Darren Young, and John Kramer, top 4, with Jim Widmeyer second, and Tom Sawyer winning that. Seem to be saying his name a lot there.
Yeah.
Ladies singles cricket, top 8, Carol Rawson, Pam Briggs, Holly Frary, and Kristen Miller, with top 4 goes to Ann Sleepy Kramer and Marilyn Pop, with Callie West second and Robin Curry first.
Okay, and that was the New York, New Jersey Open held over the weekend.
Good for them.
Let's run
a lot
through
of
all
familiar
of them.
names there.
Yeah, and it's well, when we pick our team for the
Vegas,
yeah,
for
you'll
the
have to remember those results.
Cricket Nationals. Yeah.
Let's do the air cap real quick, and we'll take our first break.
All right, now we got the air cap. So you got
page 2.
That is page 2.
Yeah. Did you lose page
why
1?
would I start at page 2?
I don't know. Tradition.
Yeah. The youth adult top 4. Mike Lewis, Brendan Robinson, Mike Edwards, and Ryan Edwards. Second place, Michaela Tweet and Danny Scott, with Chandler Moore and Craig Moore winning the youth adult. Saturday blind draw, Mike Lewis, Mike Learn, Ed LaBarbera, and Daniel Rojas, top 4. Dennis McHugh and Shane Harper second. Vince Ming and Les Sanderson win the blind draw. Open singles cricket, Chris Martin, Ken Swanson, top 4, with Jesse Russell second and Steve Brown first.
Chunky.
Doubles cricket, T.A. Bonnewell, Craig Wadsworth, Robert Hacker Schatz, it's a good name for a dart player, Dan Halligan, top 4, with Lynn Barnes and John Ankeny, second place, with Dan Zimmerman and Steve Brown winning that one. Robert Hacker Schatz, Debbie Ivy, Dan Halligan, Vince Ming, Joe Taylor, and Kathy Halligan for the top 4 for the mixed triples. Cricket with Ed LaBarbera. It's the copy.
Yeah.
Tara Poppelstein and Tim Chevron. No, that's
Shervin.
not. Shervin for second place, with Steve Chunky Brown, Christy Zimmerman,
and Dan Zimmerman.
And Dan Zimmerman.
Yeah, it's not in there.
Okay.
That was mixed trips cricket. They also had a mixed trip 601.
Right, which is also Ed Laberbera, Tim Chevron, Terrell Popplestein, Ken Swanson, Christy Swanson, and somebody Russell.
That's probably Jesse Russell.
Jesse Russell for top 4. Joe Preacher Taylor, Kathy Halligan, and Vince Ming for second place, with John Ankeny, Lynn Barnes, and Diana Rutherford for first place in the mixed trips. Ladies singles cricket top 4, Faye Montana Rivera and Diane Rutherford, with Tara Popplestein second and Debbie Ivy first. We're almost done here. Ladies singles 501, Shell Donham, Karen Bill for top 4, Lori Speedy Kennedy and second place, and Diana Rutherford for first. Ladies doubles cricket, Tara Popplestein, Faye Montana Rivera, with Carmen Miller and Tara Corbett are in the top 4. Debbie Ivy and Shelley Finnemore second place, with Frances Wadsworth and Diana Rutherford winning that. Ladies doubles 501, Shelley Finnemore, Debbie Ivy, Terry Brownwell, and Tara Corbett for top 4. Karen Bill and Charity Swanson second place, Frances Wadsworth, Diana Rutherford first. The Friday draw would be John Messick and George Fulmer, Ken Swanson and Carl Cox for top 4. Josh Wright, T.A. Bonnewell second place. John Ankeny and Ed LaBarbera wins that one. Give me till next week.
Maybe if there was a capital B.
Maybe. Give me till next week.
Okay.
I'll get that one.
All right. Okay.
Then the Chicago draw comes up with Diana Rutherford, John Logsden, Clint Goofy Reinerman,
Okay.
and Josh Adams top 4, with Kenny Chamberlain and
Vince
Ming second place. Jess Williams and Jeff Wells wins the Chicago draw. And then your 301 open singles top 4 goes to Dan Halligan, Joe Taylor, and second place goes to Lynn Barnes, and your winner of that is Ken Swanson.
Okay, let's let Mystery Mark catch his
How'd
breath.
that treat you?
That was good. We'll be back after this. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark and Steve, and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Colin Cosell here for the New World Dart Series. Now, if you were with us in Dayton, then you already know what an amazing experience we had. Incredible matches, stiff competition, and some of the best darts in North America. However, if you weren't there, then you have every right to be jealous. But don't worry, the New World Dart Series is coming back, April 5th through 7th at the Tuscany Suites and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. This means you've got some time to sharpen your skills and prepare to face off against some of the best shots in North America. And with over $31,000 to be won, not to mention a brand new car, not to mention the fact that it's frickin' Vegas, don't waste any time. Space is limited, so register and make your travel plans right now. I'll be back with updates as the event draws near, but until then, I look forward to seeing you at the New World Dart Series' second major event at the Tuscany Suites and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, April 5th through 7th. Get there.
This is DJ Sayer from Columbus, Ohio, and you're listening to Dart Talk.
Okay, and we are back for the second
quarter.
Second quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks to Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts.
So Vegas.
The Cricket Nationals.
I like pools. Getting in a little pool makes it interesting.
Well, this is going to be a little bit silly because you don't know. They're going to divide the men up into four groups, four round-robin groups, and then the top two, I assume, from each group. Well, they usually have 16 go through. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to have 8 groups or 4 groups and then the top 4 get through, because usually it's a round of 16 in the knockout. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but nobody knows who's going to be in any group. So it could be like what happened to the women last year, where like if you seeded it, we seeded the top 8 women and 5 of them were in the same group.
Right.
So only 2 of them got through. I mean, it's like going to be hard to do something like this, but it's an exercise, and
that's the risk you take.
We get to flatter all the players that we get to talk about. So the rule is, I guess, you can only have no more than 6 guys. Total value of your team
30 points
or less.
So
real quick, I'll run down
their values of 1 through 7.
Right, we'll run
7 being the best.
We'll run down real quick. The top dogs are the 7. Oh, and we have to say who's the most overpriced.
Right.
So 7 points is Darren Young, Larry Butler, Tom Sawyer, Jim Widmer, Gordon Dixon, and Joe Cheney.
Right.
Okay. 6 points, you can get Robbie Phillips, me, Steve Chunky Brown, Conley Litton, Ryan Barnett, who's my partner this weekend, Scott Wollaston, long silence, and Tim Grossman, who I haven't seen in a while, so it's good that he made it. For 5 points, you can get Joe Efter, John Kramer, Rob Dixon, Ed LaBarbera, Jerry
Nicely
Hilburn.
done.
You're welcome. And Shane Meeks. 4 points is Sam Vaccaro, Laura Thau, John Steinhofer, John Sison, Adam Savada, and Dan Naylor. For 3 points, it's Shannon Cullen, George Alvarado. How is George not going to, wring somebody's neck when he sees this? Ken Swanson, Jeff Steinberg, Robert Schatz.
Robert Schatz, good name for a dart player.
Yeah. J.D. Newman. 2 points is Eric Zarlenga, Ken Weaver, Mike Elderbroom, Greg Von Leinen, as Talamantas, and Mike Roundtree. And for 1 point, you can get Jamie Willis, Phil Wheeler, Patrick Walker, Charlie Mathis, Martin Bendoni, or Jeff Leonard.
So I would start by asking you first, is there somebody worth taking as a one-pointer?
Well, to be honest, I only know a couple of them. And the way I would do it, I wouldn't really look at the one-pointers. I'd ask myself, well, who's likeliest to win?
Yeah.
Right. Now, Darren won it last year, beat Patrick Kitty in the final.
Right.
And
we have him on record as saying that.
And I don't remember what happened to Larry last year. Sawyer didn't get out of his round robin. He lost a one-leg playoff to the guy that ended up losing the final to Darren, to Patrick Kitty. And but if you look at Sawyer, I mean, he just won in New York, and he played pretty good in Philly, too. So I'd have to say Sawyer's in pretty good form. Jimmy Widmer was making finals. He made top 4 in Philly. He made the finals in New York, New Jersey. And for some reason, and you can all argue with me and be wrong, but Widmer plays really good in January.
Okay.
Compared to how I've seen him play later in the year. So Joe Cheney is a cricket playing
I was going to say, you can't count him out when it comes to cricket.
Joe Cheney is a cricket playing madman. I swear, I don't know what they're drinking down in Chattanooga, but I think that's fair at 7. The other 7 is Gordon Dixon, and I don't even know what to say about that. All I know is, Gordon, I talked to him briefly in Philadelphia, and he was just, complaining, or not complaining. He was just like, I'm playing really bad right now. That was
and
2 weeks ago.
Well, if he's playing poorly, then it's a tough pick at 7.
At 7? Yeah. So he's in the running for most overpriced.
Okay.
At 6, Robbie Phillips, Steve Brown just won all the cricket he won the singles and the doubles in Wichita. And he's a little strange, but he's a good cricket player. Ryan Barnett and Robbie Phillips are both kind of from Carolina. They're both good cricket players. Tim Grossman's just a great player. I just never see him. He wasn't in Philly. I don't know how often he's playing, so it'd be hard to put a 6 point
pick
on a
him.
guy that you haven't seen play, although, he has won these things before.
Well, that's the fun thing about these things. Or you could take
Yeah.
a flyer on him just for the heck of it.
And Conley Litton's a 6. Haven't seen Conley play in a while. I assume he's just as tall as he was before.
That'd probably be a safe bet.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is that gonna help him win? I don't think so.
This is a very tough event to win. You're looking at the 5s now. I mean, Joe Efter's a great player, but he doesn't get out from. I think he's from like Maine or Boston. He doesn't really travel, so I haven't seen him play. Ed LaBarbera's apparently playing pretty good right now. He's in the money and everything in Wichita. And Jerry Hilburn is another one of these guys, veteran player. But I'll tell you, the 1-5 that I would say let's take is Shane Meeks.
Okay.
I think Shane's one of those guys that he's been playing forever. He's got loads of confidence. I'm sure he believes he can win this thing. It's just a matter of, seeing, how the darts fly. But at a 5, that's my top value pick, I think, from what I've seen so far, is Shane Meeks. The 4s, I like Lohr. I think Lohr's a guy that, started playing on the East Coast and moved out west and is a, extremely talented cricket player. Mm-hmm. And for him to be a 4, I'm kind of shocked.
Plus, you got to like the name. Lohr Thau.
It looks almost like a typo, and it should be Thor.
Right.
Wow, right? But, yeah. No, I kind of like Lohr there. For the 3s, I mean, Ken Swanson is a 3. I mean, I don't want to be DJ Sayre walking around this hall. He's going to have a target on his back, the size of a Buick.
Well, you can't. Not everybody can't be happy. You can't make everybody a 6 and a 7.
Well, that's true, but there's awfully good players in these 3s, and I don't know how something like this is gonna. Is it gonna come down to the 3s you pick, or is it gonna come down to the 7s you pick?
Well, it just depends on who wins.
Yeah. Well.
So, but and then you have how do you win the pool?
Well, you get. Your players win more matches than all the other people's players.
So you get like a point for each match, depending on...
Or they may do it like 1 point if they get by one round, 2 points if they get by the next one, 3.
All the way to the final.
I'm sure they have some system that rigs it for Gordon and DJ to win.
Sure. Probably.
We should mention that, our mistake so far is that Kirk Shepard made a final, not a semi. The year that he went deep in the PDC and lost a part in the final. Thank you, Bill. And also Royden Lamb's from Hong Kong and not Japan.
Not Japan.
That, I believe, is an important distinction. That we're sorry about that, Royden, if you're listening to the show.
Listen to the disclaimer.
Yeah, that's why we have it. So if we take Shane Meeks, Lohr Thau, and Ken Swanson, that gives us what? 9,
That's 12 points.
So we have 18 points with 3 guys. So we could take 3 6s. Mm-hmm. Or... any combination.
Well, I think you got to take.
We could take 2 7s.
I think you got to take
and
Joe Chaney.
4. Is that right? 2 7s and a 4.
Right.
Yeah. You want to take Chaney? Yeah. Let's take Chaney. Okay. He's a cricket playing madman, and he's he knows this format. He's played it many times. Mm-hmm. I don't know what kind of shape his game is in. He didn't make Philly. I don't know that he's even played this year.
Do we bet on the luck of Scott Wollaston, or do we? Do we think his luck has run out and we don't put him in there?
Is Scott Wollaston the most overpriced guy on this list, or is it Gordon Dixon?
Well, I'm going to say it's not Scott Wollaston. I don't want to start anything all over again. You never know what's going to happen with that.
I posted something. I said, I'm the same price as Scott Wollaston, and it makes me feel cheap. Oh, we love Scott. It'll be good seeing him. I may have to bring a bodyguard with me.
Yeah, you might have to. Right.
So you like Wollaston's actually, I mean, these 6s, if we took 3 6s, I think we'd be in pretty good shape. But
right.
I don't want to pass up Chaney. Robbie's got a chance. I don't think Steve Brown's got a chance.
Do we take Robert Schatz just because of the name?
What number is he?
He's a 3. We already got Ken Swanson.
We got 18. Well, okay, we have 18 points minus, so we have 11 points. So if we take Wollaston, we can take a 5. You want to take Wollaston over Robbie and Ryan and Conley and Tim Grossman?
Well, it's tough.
Or do you want to take? What about Darren and Larry and Sawyer?
I think we're really.
If we took
really
Sawyer,
almost have to only take 1 7, right?
Well, we could take 2, and then we got to dump Wollaston. if we take Sawyer and Cheney, then we have room for a 4.
Okay.
So
And you already have Lorthau in there.
yeah, Steinhofer's a good cricket player.
Or you could take
John
can we have-
Syson's a good cricket
We
player.
have no more than 5 or 6 or 7 players.
6. No more than 6.
Oh, okay.
So if we have Shane Meeks, Lorthau, Ken Swanson, Joe Cheney, and Sawyer,
Sawyer.
they'll all be in the same
And
round,
then,
and we'll be dead. So do the math there. That's 13, 16, 25. So we could take a 5. Is that right?
12,
9,
25.
12. So
we could take a 5.
So we got John Kramer, Joe
Oh, we got to take
Can't take Kramer.
Ed
Kramer was
Ed
complaining
LaBarbera
to me.
just because I keep screwing up his name. Let's throw.
Oh, that's interesting. You
Yeah.
want to take LaBarbera just
Yeah.
because you're messing up the guy's name?
Sure. Well, and
Wonder
they
if
also
that'll-
seemed to be doing pretty well that last weekend. So
You think that'll get you off the hook with him?
no, probably not.
No,
but
probably not. I don't think so. A 5.
well, we already have Shane Meeks in there anyway, so that limits it to Kramer
I wonder,
after Dixon, Hilburn.
Shane. I like Shane Meeks. Lorthau. I'm trying to think if we can get another point somewhere.
Well,
So
yeah,
what
I
do
mean,
you
if you
need,
took
5?
if you took
That would
somebody
give us-
like
see, we could if we
you took
did,
a 3 out and made it a 2, and then you could go up to a 6.
if we got rid of Swanson and took a 2, we could take Wollaston.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have Cheney, Sawyer, Wollaston, Shane Meeks, Lorthau, and a 2. What do you think of that?
Do you like anybody in the 2? Ace Talamentes.
There's some good players. I mean, yeah, Ace is a good player. He's young, and I don't think he's played too many of these things. So Mike Elderblom's played a lot of them. Greg Von Leinen, I don't even know him.
How about Ken Weaver?
Ken's a good player. Who are the ones? I don't know any ones. See,
All right. Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? You can't overthink this. We just got to pick something.
So
So
what
if
are
you
we
want to,
looking at?
if
We're
you want to
looking
go
at
back,
5?
if you want to add Wollaston, so we're gonna take.
if we add Wollaston, we have to dump.
we're gonna take Swanson out of the mix, and put in like a Ken Weaver. Which do you think? Which has more weight,
Man, I really.
a Wollaston or a Swanson, and a Wollaston
You know what?
and a Weaver, or
Honestly, as much as I give the guy a lot of guff, I think Wollaston's got a good chance of winning. So that's 7 and 6 is 13. That's 19, 24, 28. So it's okay. So we either take a 3 instead of Lore, or we take a 2 instead of Swanson, because I like Shane Meeks there. So what do you think?
I say we take like either an Elder Bloom or a Weaver. And sorry to Ken Swanson.
Let's take Elderbloom.
We'll give Swanson some
Elderbloom's a 2.
chalkboard material for us dumping him.
All right, so we'll take
Elder Bloom.
Elderbloom. Okay, so Team Dart Talk.
There
We
you
got
go.
it. So we've got Joe Cheney, Tom Sawyer, Scott Wollaston, Shane Meeks, Lorthau, and Mike Elderbloom.
Yep.
Let's just hope they're all in different brackets.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll take another quick break. Sorry about messing up the commercial last time, but sometimes things just can't be helped. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark and Steve. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Robin Curry. I'm from Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, and you're listening to Dart Talk.
Okay, back for the second half, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
The DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. We got an interview with Jerry Umberger coming up.
Real quick, did we say who really was the most overpriced darter?
Gordon.
Okay.
Gordon Dixon.
I didn't know if we finalized that.
And it's based on his own testimony.
Right.
That he's playing really bad.
Right.
You can't, if you're a top dollar guy and you're playing bad, you're a bad bet.
Yeah.
So prove me wrong and throw up my face. He'll enjoy that.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
All right.
So I'm guaranteed to get him in my round robin group, aren't I?
Of course.
Yeah. I wouldn't bet on myself on this thing. Not that I'm actually playing good right now. I had like one of the best practice sessions I've ever had the other day. But I am just like
we haven't really been performing overly well in the last couple tournaments, have you?
Yeah, well, in these things I tend to get out of my round robin and then I got nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if it's the long break in between or what, but I don't seem to keep my focus. I don't know what I did last year. Top eight in the 01, and I don't even think I played the cricket. So.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. I'm going to enjoy playing it. It'll be nice to see everybody, and we'll give it a whack and see what happens.
So you got some NWDS news before we get to Jerry Umberger?
Well, yeah, no, I don't know if we've got news so much. I did have a chat with the powers that be. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And we'll have some comprehensive news on it in a little bit. We did want to mention, though, that Larry Butler's giving an exhibition in Thousand Oaks, California, tomorrow night.
All right.
So all the California people need to go out there. It's going to get streamed live. So if you go to www.livestream.com and just search for L. David Iridi, you'll find it. And I'm sure, on Facebook people will be posting links and stuff like that. If you can't find it, send an email to darttalk@gmail.com, and we'll send you the link when we have it. I'll be around tomorrow night. And then also the one announcement about the New World Dart Series event that's going to be in Vegas at the beginning of April is they're running so many qualifiers. Mm-hmm. They've already had, I think, 10 or 11, and there's another 24 scheduled. They're not going to have as many spots available as people think because, the qualifiers
are going to take them all up.
Are going to take a lot of spots. Yeah. So especially the women need to get their sign-ups. You can go to newworlddartseries.com and sign up online, or just, give money to Larry when you see him in the dart hall. Pretty sure he frowns on that. Or Sharon. The one thing about the qualifiers, I guess Sharon sent me a little note that says, if you sign up in advance and happen to win a qualifier, they'll refund, whatever. So you don't have to worry about that. So I would lock up my spots were I you, because you're talking about huge prize money and a big hit on the North American Championship Tour money list, which is now, officially the only money list that counts.
Yeah.
It's the only list that's going to count for anything. Yeah. Right. Well, because what they're going to do, and I haven't seen a formal announcement, but I know this for a fact, that they're going to look at that money list at the end of the year, and the top 64 people are going to get invited to play in the North American Championship, which I don't ever remember getting a chance to play. And that's going to be probably late February, early March next year. And that's going to be like huge money.
Right.
That's going to be like a $40,000 tournament, something like that, some insane amount of money. And it's going to be a can't-miss kind of tournament. So you got to play these events to get seeded, and here's the first one.
Yep.
Start 45,
start of the year.
4,400 to the winner or something.
Right.
I mean, it's a can't-miss tournament. So that is... if you want more information, go to newworlddartseries.com, and they will fill you in. And if you have any specific questions, you can always email the show, darttalk@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter at darttalk and the usual.
Somehow you'll get a response.
I'm not hard to get a hold of. I'm thinking
one way or another.
King of all media, but I'm pretty easy to find. All right, let's.
Unless your phone battery's dead.
I so need a new phone. So I sat down with Jerry Umberger
Yeah.
at the Ray Chesney, a week and a half ago. Fascinating conversation with him. He goes back to when darts was huge in America, where they were filming stuff. They had live audiences, big prize money, all of which apparently
Has
was
gone away.
before I even found a set
Picked
of
up a
darts.
dart, right.
So it's kind of interesting. He's got some interesting things to say. Comparing the games and whatnot. So let's listen to Jerry Umberger and hear what he has to say. So we're at the Ray Chesney in Philadelphia with American darting legend Jerry Umberger, who stopped by to say hello to everyone. Say hello to the audience, Jerry.
Hi, everybody. How you all doing out there?
Jerry, if I understand it correctly now, you retired in 1999. Is that true?
August of 99, right?
And before that, you had been playing for, 10, 15, 20 years?
About 24 years.
For the listeners that weren't around back then, what was the what were dart tournaments like back then?
The prize money wasn't as high, but you got a better percentage. When you won the singles, say at a $2,000 tournament, you might have won $500-600. Or today, you don't get that.
So it was more like more top-heavy payouts, more of a winner-take-all kind of thing?
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yep.
Larry Butler and Darren Young are going to be going over to England in the beginning of February for the PDC World Cup. My understanding is back in the 90s and 80s, we had more Americans with opportunities to play overseas. What was the difference back then between playing here and playing in England?
Well, when I first started going over, I was the only American there, myself and Conrad Daniels. And then after a few years, they start inviting more. So we had more going over there after a while. But the first few years, it was just myself, a little tougher that way.
Right, you didn't have anybody backing you, and you were kind of just all by yourself, getting ganged up on by the by the Brits. One of the things I hear a lot is that the level of play these days is higher than the level of play back in your day, mostly because we don't have staples and big thick wires and stuff like that anymore, and the technology with the flights and shafts is better now. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I talked to Larry Butler, and he told me they're also using the boards with the razor type wires, which makes the triple a lot bigger, so it'd make it a lot easier to get 1080s than what it was years ago. And we had more bounce out years ago like you would now.
So aside from the fact that nobody else was going over to England but you, when you first started playing overseas, you must have had some support from some of the American companies. You had sponsors, I assume?
Yeah, I was sponsored by Dart World at one time, and then I went to Hammerhead Darts, and then I went back to Vokes Darts, and then I went back to Dart World at the end. And Dart World, they're super sponsors, and they were all great sponsors.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you design a barrel that had kind of a scallop about halfway down, so it was more of a front-loaded dart? Was that your design?
Well, it was designed after the American darts, the Woody darts. It was more front-loaded. Yeah, that was my idea, and actually, the Hammerhead's actually selling them, and I guess they call them the GT. That would have been my signature dart if I'd have stayed with them, but I went to Dart World after that.
So the GTs, for listeners that haven't seen them, have no knurling, and they're actually just kind of a smooth, bullet-shaped dart. And was that what you threw back when you were playing?
Well, no, they came out with that after I left them. I gave him an American dart, and he copied that, and he sort of used that for a guide, and that's what he used for the GTs. And I actually went to be sponsored by Dart World, and then he came out with that afterwards. But he gave me a couple sets, and I actually won 2 tournaments with him.
Well, we don't have time to list all the tournaments that you won over the years, but are there a couple that really stay in your mind even today as being pretty important or pretty special for one reason or another?
Well, I guess the biggest one I won was the Royal Hawaiian. I was the first one to win that. That was $15,000 first place. And I won the North American Open a few times. Not the North American Open. I did a lot of winning up in Massachusetts, What was that tournament?
Which city?
Which city? Yeah, I won that a few times. I won Chicago, Dallas. I won, so I won pretty much just about where I went. I won at least one
Texas,
time.
too. Did you say Texas?
I won quite a few of them, I guess.
So you won pretty much everywhere you went, which is probably why you're a legend. And it's funny because, you know, I was talking to some of the people when you showed up here, and I've never heard a bad word uttered about Jerry Umberger, which is unusual. A lot of the darters, you know, when guys beat them once too often, they start to get a little chippy in the things they say. But nobody's got that to say about you. Why do you suppose that is?
You didn't talk to enough people, I guess. Yeah, well, I did a lot of telling jokes and doing my silly tricks and stuff, so I had a lot of fun with it.
Were you doing exhibitions and stuff back then?
I did a few. A friend of mine, Fred Hughes from Worcester, Massachusetts, he set some up there for me, and we had some fun with that. So, yeah. The best thing we had was I learned about the spoon fighting, you know, way back, and I see it's on Facebook now. Everybody's having fun with it. I'm glad to see that. But we did it many, many years ago.
And you would always talk to people too, and try to help them out. When
Yeah, that's another thing. When I used to go to tournaments, all the big guns would go together and practice and carry on. I would go down with the average Joe.
Yeah, upcoming ones.
And people would come up and they'd ask me, they said, you know, that it's nice that I come around and talk with them, you know. And they said, well, these other people don't talk to us. And I said, well, you should go up and talk to them first, you know. Then they'd talk to you, but I always used to be there for them first, you know. Without them, you don't have a dart tournament. If you have all the top players here, you only have 20 people, you know.
So you retired in 1999. Did you have physical problems, or did you get tired of playing, or what actually brought on the end of your dart career?
I actually got burnt out, and then I had a friend of mine, a young kid, Jason Lucas, that he came back he got into the darts, and he got me to start going with him, playing again. And he actually got killed in a car accident, and then I just didn't feel like playing anymore. So I just hung it up then. No fun in it no more, you know. But I'm going to come back again. I want to be the oldest person to win a major tournament, then I'm going to quit.
So you want to come back, win a tournament, and then quit. And you're, if you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
I'll be 71 at the end of the month, January 29th.
And you forgot to say.
But I'm in better shape now than I was when I was in my 50s, so.
Earlier you said that every now and then you'll watch some of the English darts online over the internet. And I'm curious what your impression is as far as like the kind of play that you see now versus what you saw when you were traveling back there.
Well, I say the top of the line, like Phil Taylor and them boys, they are better, but the average player that loses the first, second round of the tournaments, they're about the same as what we average, 28, 29 to dart, you know. So that's about average, but now you get Phil Taylor, you know, he's averaging over 100, so that's better than they did when I was playing. But there's a couple handful of them doing that, you know. The rest of them are, I guess, pretty much the same.
Yeah, see, my impression has been that because there's more prize money, more people are committing more and more time to improving their game. Now, I'm curious how much people practiced back when you were active. You were saying that you really didn't practice much at all.
No, I like if I was going to England, I'd maybe practice maybe 3 or 4 hours the week before I went over there, and go over there and try to get practice while I was there. But like these guys today, they, you know, like Phil Taylor might practice 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a day. I don't even know anymore, but they're putting a lot of time in it, and they deserve it, and that's why they're getting that money. They deserve it because they're really good.
What was a typical Jerry Umberger practice routine back when you were, you know, at the peak of your career?
Well, maybe once or twice a month, I might go down for 10 minutes or something and throw. And that's about it. And that's the truth, too. You can ask my wife. I'd just go up, try to throw group darts, and I might try to hit some doubles, you know, something like that. I had nothing planned. Now, Larry Butler had a good thing. He used to start at number 1, shoot the doubles until he hit 2 doubles. out of 3 darts, and then he'd move to the next one. I never did that. I couldn't hit 2 doubles.
It's funny, when Larry first told me about that, I said, well, I can't recall ever having to hit 2 doubles. But he said that it helped him with his grouping and stuff. That was the reason that he did it.
Yeah, we were over in England. Him and I did that, and we went up to about 10 or 12, and that was enough. But you'd be surprised if you keep doing it. You can hit them.
Until you come back, I guess we can consider you like the professor emeritus of American darts. What sort of advice would you give to players that are working on their game, the up and coming guys, the younger guys, some of the established guys? What kind of advice would you give to them in general?
Well, one thing I mean, you have to practice. That's the main thing. Get a good quality dart also. And then when you play somebody, show them respect. Shake their hand before. Win or lose, shake their hand after. It's all about respect. And then the way you get respected by giving respect. So it comes back, believe me. I see a lot of the comments that come back. It really makes you feel good.
Well, Jerry, thanks for your time. I'll look forward to playing you when you get back on the circuit. And until then, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. I'll wait till you get a little older and make it a little easier on me,
Okay, that was Jerry Umberger.
Is he really making a comeback?
He said he was, and actually I got an email from him today, and he wanted me to mention, he wanted me to know that in 1994 he played in the WDC Samson Classic and finished second to Peter Evison, and along the way he beat Dave Kelly, Dennis Priestley, Cliff Lazarenko, and Phil Taylor. It was the first tournament that the WC played 301 double in and double out.
Okay.
So I guess they played a lot of 301 back then. I don't really understand why. Yeah. But, again, it's one of those things where a one-day tournament, how long can you have it?
Mm-hmm.
The PDPA is up to best of 11, 501 all the way through. I don't know what they did back then, but I don't know. Found that interesting. Okay, we'll take one more break, and then we'll get to the magic bullet part where I get to go off on all sorts of stuff.
Steve's rant coming up.
Oh, it's going to be a long one. Okay, you're listening to Dart Talk with you and me.
Yeah, Mark and Steve, Steve and Mark.
Right, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
We'll be right back.
I'm Susan. I work for the Red Bar. I grew up here in Chicago, and I'm listening to Dart Talk.
Okay, we are back for the fourth quarter.
Susan the waitress, huh?
Susan the waitress. Brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, as usual, thanks to Windy City Fabricators.
Couldn't do it without them.
So
here we go.
Okay.
Preface the magic bullet.
The magic bullet. Okay.
It has to do with...
The magic bullet has to do with solving a bunch of problems that we have as a sport.
Yeah.
Namely...
Which we've mentioned. We
have.
Perused the subject before.
Well, we have, and, like I said, I've probably given this too much thought, but the first idea here is that the 180
rule,
that's got to go. I mean, it's everybody who plays knows it's like
Nobody likes it. Right.
Nobody likes it, and the fact that the BDO would throw it out there is, I think, way beyond the pale of anything. So what I did was I pulled some quotes from the BDO's own articles of incorporation and whatnot, so people can see the absolute hypocrisy that they're employing. So I printed them up. So let's. I'll put the first one up. This is from their memorandum of association, which is on BDOdarts.com if you want to read it. And basically, this is what they're all about as an organization and what they're fobbing themselves off to be. So go ahead and can you read that?
To promote the popularity of interest and participation in and foster the skills and growth of the game of darts in all its variations and in every aspect, social, competitive, or professional, in the United Kingdom or overseas.
Yeah, okay.
That's the object for which the company is established.
Right. So the BDO is supposed to promote the popularity, interest, and participation in every aspect of the game in the United Kingdom and overseas.
Right.
Social and competitive. So basically, they rule the world.
Right.
That's their idea, to promote the sport every which way they can. Right? I mean, that's their own deal. So let's look at their little rule here that they've put up. This is the 180 rule. To be eligible to participate in qualifying events, a player B must not, in the 180 days preceding the commencement of the relevant qualifying event, have been a member of any organization that is not recognized by the BDO and or have participated in any event that is not recognized by the BDO. A player may apply to the BDO Board of Directors for a waiver of this condition due to exceptional circumstances, and the BDO Board of Directors shall determine in its discretion whether or not to grant such a waiver. But there's more. The BDO Board of Directors shall determine from time to time whether an organization or event is recognized or not by the BDO for the purposes of this Section B. As of the effective date, the only organization not recognized by the BDO for these purposes is the Professional Dart Players Association. And the only events not recognized by the BDO for these purposes are events organized by the Professional Darts Corporation, except save that a player may participate in the Grand Slam of Darts and or the UK Open without affecting his eligibility to play in qualifying events.
Okay.
Well, now, correct me if I'm wrong here. So the BDO has decided that not only are they supposed to promote darts in every single possible way,
yes,
but they don't even recognize the existence of the PDC and the PDPA, and therefore anybody that plays in those things
are not recognized
by the BDO.
Right.
Now, how is this possible? How do you decide that you are going to be the be-all and end-all of darts and then ban all the best players in the world, right?
Well, how's that promoting the sport?
Well, exactly. Well, I have an answer. And this is the answer I went to. This is another from the BDO playing rules. There's 2 clauses here that I highlighted. Can you read those?
Yeah, the BDO appointed organizers. What's organizers
Sorry,
reserve?
It's just bad. Let me read it.
Reserve the right to refuse or cancel any entrant at any stage prior to or after a dart event without assigning a reason for so doing, and their decision shall be the final and binding in all matters relating to that event.
All right, this is a crock.
Right.
This is an absolute crock. We'll read it again. The organizers reserve the right to refuse or cancel any entrant at any stage prior to or after a darts event without assigning a reason, and their decision will be final and binding.
No matter what, yeah. So
there's no appeal.
Right.
They just wave their magic wand and say, "This is how we're doing it."
You're out.
How do you do business? How do you do business with an organization like this?
Right.
We're talking about how players don't have a voice in anything. There it is in black and white. The players can go, take a walk.
Yeah.
We don't care. We don't like you. You're too tall. You're too short. I'm horizontally challenged. You're out of here.
Right.
I didn't like the way you looked at me. You're out of here. How on earth did this happen?
Right.
How on earth does anybody even go near these people? That's what I want to know. And then the second one. The British Darts Organization Limited reserves the right to add to or amend any or all of their rules at any time to meet any purpose deemed to be necessary at that time by the board of directors. They get to do anything they want, anytime they want. It should be. We're broadcasting. I don't know if it cut out.
Hearing anything.
Really? Uh-oh.
This is no sound.
Should have sound. Yeah, there should be sound. I don't know. Maybe something happened. Tell Jason to refresh his screen. You know what? We're going to take a quick break here because I don't know what's going on here, but we'll be back in a minute.
The chat room says that the BDO hacked into us and cut out our sound.
Well, luckily, we record this in 2 places.
Yeah.
So if it did cut out, we'll be able to fix it. So I don't know what everybody missed, but I'm still irritated.
Well, they missed the BDO's rules.
The BDO's rules,
especially the last one where they can do whatever. They can kick everybody out of a tournament for whatever reason they want with no appeal.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put that back up. This is, I titled this "Unlimited Discretion" by the BDO, and it's like, how do you run something where you say we can do anything we want at any time we want, and you have no appeal?
Yeah,
this is about as asinine an organizational policy as I've ever seen in my life.
These policies have been in order for as long as they've been around, and nobody's ever said anything about it.
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of like, well, if you write a law and you don't enforce it, maybe nobody knows the law is there until you want to pull it out of your pocket and say, hey, here's what's going on. So that's why they have to amend this rule, because what's basically going to happen is all the stuff that's going on here with the North American Championship Tour, which is probably the most exciting news and the best opportunity for big-time darts that America has seen in, I'm guessing, a decade, which is as long as I've been playing, is anybody who wants to go to the Winmore Masters or try to qualify for Lakeside or anything like that is going to be shut out. Based on what?
What, the BDO's rules?
Well, I mean, they've got a beef with the PDC. We're over here in America, okay? Whatever their issues are with the PDC and who banned who when, I don't care. Right?
Right.
However, what it boils down to for me is the fact that they are they are blatantly discriminating against American darters. Can we agree on that?
Yes, we can agree on that.
If we agree that they are actively, and it's documented.
Yes.
In their minds,
bylaws.
anyway. It's in their bylaws that they get to discriminate against American darters. Then I say we have to put a stop to it.
Right.
So I have a plan.
So, yes.
Well,
which is the magic bullet.
The magic bullet is going to solve...
3?
It's going to take some effort on everybody's part, but it's going to solve a bunch of problems.
3 or 4 problems?
Yeah, it's going to solve a few problems. The biggest problem is this thing.
Yes. You have to get rid of that.
We have to get rid of it because it's blatant discrimination against Americans, but it also represents...
ties into promoting darts, though.
Yeah, it also represents an overall attitude among tournament organizers that this kind of attitude has to stop. This vindictive, petty nonsense only hurts the sport in an overall sense, which also violates their bylaws. Right. So that's two birds killed, right? We're gonna, by getting rid of this 180 rule, we're gonna eliminate discrimination against American darters, and we're gonna improve the overall atmosphere of the sport, right? 3, one of the biggest problems is that we lack exposure, especially here in America. So I want to solve that one too. And number 4, I want live darts on TV. I want American live darts on TV.
Right.
So it's 4 problems. So here's how we solve it.
Which will help with the exposure.
Well, here's how we solve it. I had an email exchange with somebody at ESPN.
Okay.
Because I tried to get the 2 head honchos that are in charge of this.
In charge of what?
In
TV
charge
exposure?
In charge of ESPN broadcasting Lakeside.
Okay.
And I asked them point blank, I said, look, how long have you been aware that you're doing business with a company that actively discriminates against American darters? And I got an unsatisfactory response from them. They were kind of like, well, take it up with the BDO. And I'm like, that's not good enough.
Right.
So here's what I want to do.
Well, that's not the point, though. The point is the BDO is discriminating against them. They're in cahoots with the BDO. So why would they should be unhappy that they're sponsoring an organization that's discriminating against Americans?
They should be.
Right.
And I want to reinforce that point.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to flood ESPN with tweets, emails, telephone calls, and faxes. So this nice woman was kind enough to get back to me directly. Amy Phillips is a senior director of communications, which, as a marketing title, I don't think she's very high up on the totem pole. I wanted Norby Williamson and Russell Wolf, so I'm going to still work on getting their real email addresses.
Their Twitter account.
But in the meantime, if everyone sends an email to the email address
to
here,
amy.phillips@espn.com,
or tweet
at Amy_ESPN PR.
Or phone them. Or phone Amy.
Yeah, you can phone her at 646.
Leave her a voice message,
547-5614.
Or send a fax.
860-766-2400.
And tell them that I was going to actually compose a form letter that everyone can send. And I was like, that's probably a bad idea. Everybody should just kind of...
Everybody should be able to tweet in their own words.
Everyone should, call her and leave a message or tweet. And if you tweet, use the hashtag 180 rule.
Yeah.
And tell them that you're against the BDO's...
discrimination of American darters.
And ESPN's support.
Right.
Of the BDO.
By broadcasting Lakeside.
Yeah, by broadcasting Lakeside, they're basically enabling the BDO to discriminate against American darters.
Right.
I am going to have a talk this weekend with some of the powers that be, and we'll see how this goes, but we may have to extend this because I'm of the opinion now that the ADO needs to divorce itself from the WDF.
Right.
No longer...
Oh, from the WDF, too.
From the WDF.
So not just the BDO, but from the WDF as well.
Until the BDO changes this rule, everything that they're connected with is besmirched, right? And as Americans, we're against discrimination, aren't we?
Yes.
Isn't this the land of
we're supposed to be
separate or not separate but equal? What am I saying? I mean, all men are created equal, right? We don't discriminate based on groups. I'm not going to put the definition.
So our goal is to get this rule eliminated.
And if they're not going to eliminate it, I want it in writing that it's not going to apply to any North American Tour events that are being held in North America. That's what I want. And then I'll shut up. But this is not going to go away. If the WDF is going to continue to be associated with the BDO and continue enabling the BDO to discriminate against American players, I don't see how any ADO sanctioned tournament can, at the same time, be a WDF sanctioned tournament. I don't see how the ADO can even allow that.
What's the general buzz of American darters about this, though? I mean,
I don't think a lot of them are even aware of it. That's why that's why we're taking great pains and trying to explain it to everybody. I understand there's a history. I understand that the BDO and the PDC have been at odds for a long, long time. Enough's enough.
So what?
Well,
it shouldn't affect us.
It shouldn't affect us.
Right.
And the fact is that America is probably the biggest market, untapped market for darts in the world. And like NBC Sports, which used to be Versus or whatever, just bought 26 hours worth of darts programming to show here.
Oh, did they really? Okay.
Yeah. Now all we need to do is get them to show some live tournaments, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
And we'll be there. But if we can flood ESPN with thousands of tweets and phone messages and emails so they can see how many people in America are interested in darts, and conversely, even the people that are for the BDO, if they were to send emails saying, no, the 180 rule is good, that would be fine. To show the amount of interest in darts to ESPN, I think would be invaluable in raising
the awareness of the sport,
in giving the sport exposure and letting them realize that, hey, there's potential programming here.
Right.
That's the plan. That's the magic bullet.
That's the magic bullet.
What do you think?
I like it.
You like it? All right, so we'll post. I will. We'll post the email, the Twitter, and the telephone and the fax numbers, and I'll say it again for people that are getting the podcast. Send your emails to amy.phillips@espn.com. Tweet her with the hashtag 180rule at Amy_ESPNPR. Leave her a voice message at 646-547-5614. That's an American phone number. Or send a fax at 860-766-2400. I actually have her mobile number,
but I wasn't going to
put
I
that
want to
out
reiterate
there.
your point. We're not advocating only negative against the 180 rule. If you have reasons to believe in the 180 rule, we want as much information sent to them by as many people possible.
Yeah, go ahead. If you're for the 180 rule, go ahead and say you're for it. But just let Amy know.
Yeah.
And let's see how many messages we can get to her in a week. Hopefully this will be better than the haircut thing.
Hopefully.
Okay. All right, so we're running over. Sorry about the glitches. You guys can download the podcast from iTunes, from Stitcher.com, from TuneIn.com. Check out our YouTube channel, Dart Talk US.
Yes.
You can watch it on YouTube. That'll be up first, most likely. I'll try to get the audio up before I go to Vegas because I'm leaving early Thursday morning.
Right.
So we're at a bit of a time crunch here. And I don't know. Got anything else?
Oh, good luck to everybody in Vegas. We're going to enter our official Dart Talk team into the pool. And
yeah, you owe me $10.
I do owe you $10. I'll gladly pay you on Tuesday.
Right. So for a hamburger today.
Yeah.
So we'll have all that. Safe travels to everybody going to Sin City this weekend.
Enjoy the warmer weather since we got our first cold snap of the year.
Yeah, that's a total bummer.
Yeah.
Man, it's cold today.
Whew.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll Dart Talk to you next week. Everybody take care.